speak. So at the end of this, when we finish, I'm going to put the link in the Discord group, and episode 4 is ready to go. It's a beast. It's a beast. It's 50 minutes long, which is why it's taking me a little bit longer to get it out to you guys. Having said that, however, it's a really good one because it goes into all the kind of, it's the detailed look at external, internal range liquidity with lots of examples. And yeah, it's a good one, long story short. Right, who's going to give me a pair? Anyone going to give me... Aman, how are you, mate?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, boss? What's going on? Not much. Marius, you good?
Yes.
Good. Right, someone's got to give me a pair then. We're on a time limit. I've got half an hour tonight. Someone's got to give me a pair and we're going to go analyze it.
Let's go GU.
Let's go GU. Oh, bloody hell. Right. Share my screen. Everyone see my screen, yeah?
Yeah.
Cool. Right, how do I hide this? Hide video panel. No, don't want to do that. Show video panel. I want to hide the floating panel. And then open trading view. Everyone can see my trading view, yeah?
Yeah, just let it know. Yeah.
Okay. Right, let's have a look then. So, GBP USD. I thought you were going to give me something hard, but I mean, if you want to give me G, that's fine. I'm cool with it. Right, so let's clear the chart, remove everything off it. Okay, we're good to go. So, look, what I want to do in these sessions is just kind of go through the last week of price action, just show you kind of what I'd be looking for, how I'd be looking to trade it, etc., and go from there. It was a bit of a funky week, obviously, because we didn't have Monday. So where are we starting from? We're starting from here. Let me just put a line on. So we're starting from there, and I'll show you kind of my daily process as to how I'm looking at the charts, how I'm kind of marking things up, and going from there really. So I'll always start, if I'm knocking up a chart from literally this kind of a blank chart, I'm always going to be looking at any major swing points first and foremost. These are key areas that price is going to be attracted to, and we just draw them on really simply. What we're looking for is a major swing on the weekly time frame. So there's no science to this. I'm sure there is a theory to how I draw them, but it's pretty obvious that is the most recent major swing high and that is the most recent swing low, right? Everyone in agreement with that, yeah? So those are kind of the significant ones that I'm going to be paying attention to, and seeing ultimately what we've got. Now we have to imagine that this orange candle isn't here, okay? In fact, we can probably replay it so we can get rid of it altogether. What I'm then going to be looking for is any recent highs and lows. So the weekly recent high and low is really important. When it's like a little one, like inside like this, I'll mark it on, okay? But because it's inside that previous bar, that previous week's candle, I think it's also worth keeping an eye on that one because there's going to be lots of liquidity sat here. When it's inside a previous candle, the likelihood of it sweeping and causing a major reaction is low. What's much more likely is that we'll probably pull down to something like that, and then pushing back up. So I'll always look at the kind of the high and the low, the range effectively. Now, when you go down to the daily time frame, you'll usually then see that these are major swing points on the daily time frame as well, naturally, because they're a weekly high and low. So this is now two really key areas that if we can see are swept, we're going to be looking at, potentially a major play from there. From there, I'm just looking at any other, what I think might be significant levels that might be worth trading. So, because we've got this kind of really restrictive, constrictive price action because of like coming up to Christmas days and things like that, I'm not really fussed about any of these candles within here. I'm not really fussed about that low, although it might be one that we maybe pay attention to, so I'll put that one on there. But again, it's an inside candle, so it's not one that I'm expecting major swings from, if that makes sense. So I'll mark those on and we'll just keep an eye on them. And, we don't really have to move quickly on this. We are just looking for areas that may be manipulated and may have been swept. From there, I'm then looking at areas to the left that could be causing further reaction. So you can see this area here has a major reaction. Okay, I'm just... sorry, I'll just to mute you, Kings and Pearls. Apologies, mate. So we can see there that caused a major reaction. That was clearly, an external level on, you can see there on a previous liquidity zone. So we can mark that one on. Then we've got a couple of other areas that we might want to pay attention to here. So we can have a look at that. Or that's gone as well. So we can mark both of those on. So both of those external levels have been taken. And then if you just look at the chart, you can often see where it may be worth paying attention to. So we've got another level here on this daily chart that if we do get up to, we should be paying attention to at least, and just seeing what happens there. From there, I'm dropping down to the hourly, and now's when I'm going to start trying to, form a bit of a bias as to how I want to trade and what I want to be looking for. From here, I've got my key areas. It's now just a case of, having a look at the charts to see what we've got. So this is Friday's price action. Not going to be trading the Friday. Let's move on to the Tuesday. Let's see what we've got here. So Friday. So Tuesday opens here. Went a little bit too far, as you can see. Let's go back to Tuesday Asia and see what we get on the charts. So from here, what we're looking for then is we're looking for some sort of indication that there's going to be a positive trade for us to get into. Now, when you look at liquidity and where liquidity sat, we can see quite clearly that we've got major liquidity, external liquidity sat here on this low. Okay, so we're going to keep an eye on that level. We're also going to be looking at the basis that we have pushed down from this major level here. Okay, which was an external level. So we can mark that on as red because that's been taken. So with the nature of the market moving from kind of buy side liquidity to sell side liquidity, we can see here that we have taken out liquidity, external liquidity zones here and here, and we've rejected quite well. Now the likelihood is, given the higher time frame marketplace and the fact that if we look back into these charts, we've got this big bearish push down here, big market breaker structure down there. The likelihood is that lower prices after we've taken this major liquidity is going to be quite obvious. We are making bearish plays like this. We've come down and we are very near to this external liquidity. So at least in the short term, we want to be looking at a trade that might take out this external liquidity level. So from here, I'm going to be just playing out candle by candle just to see if we can get an entry from here. So this is the Asian range. I'll put it onto the 1 minute time frame so you can see it a little bit easier. So it's a 3 minute. Okay, and then we're looking for a clear indication that we are going to be pushing bearish. Now, we've taken out some internal liquidity from this range. So if we draw this range on like this, okay, this is our kind of 3 minute range that we've looked at. We've got resting liquidity here, what we call range liquidity. So we mark that on as our range liquidity. We have a, not particularly clear, but we do have technically, it's not the clearest of ISC formations because there is technically 1, 2, 3, 4 candles above there. And on a 3 minute chart, it's not as clear as I'd like it to be, but we can see that we have swept that range liquidity. We've got, some nice bearish price action. We've got an ISC there from Friday as well with a really nice play down. So on Friday, when was that? Friday at 6 o'clock, we had a beautiful little formation there. So clear ISC candle, taking out all this liquidity here. We've then got push down, push down, push down. So push down, push back, push down. So there we've got our MSU set up. Okay, and we could have entered like this on Friday. You're probably pretty mad to enter on Friday, but you can see the setup itself is pretty clear. So that could be a trade that you could be in from Friday. This one here, though, I'm seeing that we've got a manipulation here. So I'm going to mark that on. I'm going to enter on this engulfing. Stop above the Frankfurt high, okay, because I don't expect that to be blown any further. And we've got some nice, corrective price action, multiple MSU structures in there as well. Now, first target, okay, because we are pushing off from range liquidity, first target off here. Let's have a quick look where we're going to go for. We haven't really got a liquidity level here. We've got one here, but it's less than 1R, so I'm not in a rush to take that trade. So what I'd be looking for is that liquidity low as our first profit target. Let's see if we get stopped out or not on this. So we've got a little bit of build up here. So when you see price doing this, but not quite breaking the high, what we class this as build up. Okay, and what price is doing ultimately in these situations is potentially taking out our stop, as you can see, but building up liquidity at the same time. So we've got one loss on here. Okay, let's see if we get a liquidity sweep of that level, which we do. Let's see if we can get another setup from here. Okay, so we're down to one loss so far. That's okay. It's going to happen. Okay, we've now got a nice bit of build up here as well. So a nice little trend line liquidity. Much wider stop on this position now. So you could have entered here like this, or you could have entered there like this. This is a MSU, as you can see, because we've got push down, pull back, push down, and we've got a manipulation of it. So we can mark on our MSU like that. And we enter on the first engulfing, which you could argue could have been there, but look, we didn't see it until here. And we're going to be aiming for that same profit target. Okay. And we've been stopped out again. Oh, the market is playing with us today. Let's have a quick look then. So we're down 2 losses so far. Oh, -2. Okay. So now what I'd be doing after taking a couple of losses is I'll be looking for a real clear indication. Now what may have happened here is we again may be building up liquidity like this. Okay, this can happen. Sometimes you'll get these little positions which will kind of trick you into getting into the market early, and then what price will do often is it will reach for further external liquidity maybe, or it might reach for that high there. Okay, it looks like we might be falling at MSU now. Okay, so we've got our MSU set up here. This would be my last position of the day if I was taking this one like this. MSU there, engulfing pattern there, stop above that high. This feels a little bit safer now because we've taken out some more external liquidity points. We've taken out that one and we've taken out that one. So this feels a little bit safer now. And then first liquidity would be down here. So that would be my first liquidity zone. See if we get it. Or is it going to stop me again? Surely not. Okay, right. So we got our first profit off here. So that's a 1.67 there. Okay, plus 1.67. I'll add all these up at the end. And then now, so I'm out on my first position. I'm now holding down for my next position, which is this external level here. Okay. And we quite comfortably get down there, which is brilliant. So we've got a 4.2 there, which is good. So plus 4.2. Always makes me very nervous on these sessions where we take a couple of losses at the start. I don't want to look like a dick in front of everyone. So now we've got our position out. Now, depending on what your appetite is, you could obviously hold this until, you know, these further liquidity points down here. Personally, I've learned over the years, the hard way, I quite like just coming out of the marketplace when we've taken the liquidity that we need, or we've taken the profit that we need. I often will leave quite a lot on the table. Okay, so for example, that did turn into an 11R trade. I've played around with leaving a little bit on the marketplace, so sometimes I'll take like 80% off, 70% off, but you know what? The amount of times that you'll hold for, say, this low, and then it will come down to here, take out a little bit, and then come back and take your break-even point. For me, I've learned that actually, do you know what? If you just come out of the key liquidity area, you're more likely to catch the trade, and you're kind of in and out. That's my appetite. But look, these methods, they'll work on, you know, however you wanna manage it. You've got to manage it as, you know, your appetite is your own, if that makes sense. You've got to manage these trades however you want. I would have come out there probably full position there. I'm pretty happy. You know, I've got a -2, so that's a 2.2 plus a 1.67. So someone can do the quick maths for me, but 3.87. Is that right? I think so. 3.87, you know, 3.87% per trade. I've done 3.8 for the day, or even if I was doing 0.5% per trade, I've done 1.9%, 2% in a day. You're laughing. And what you finished by 10:30, which is a pretty good place to be in. Now let's see if New York gives us anything. Okay, it's dropped down to the time frame. So this is our New York session. We've got a trap here. Let's draw a trap on. for me now we've taken out that weekly level, I'm going to be waiting for some sort of price action to get me back into this trade, really. We're either going to push down further from here, as you can see. Probably going to mark on that level now. Now we've taken out that low, so it's probably worth marking on that level here. That would be probably a daily level, or how did we not get that earlier? Because we didn't expect price to come down this far. So that's a daily level here. Let's mark that on. Okay. Go back to our chart and then see what price wants to do. Okay, so look, we've done pretty much nothing in the New York session. We've just kind of meandered. I remember this from EU on Tuesday. I think a few of us tried to get in short here, didn't we? And we got stopped out, or I think a couple of break evens. So look, price has now set itself for the day. Okay, clearly very, very bearish. We've got a big bearish candle there. So what we're looking for now is possible further bearish price action. This is kind of to the extent that I use trends, really. I use trend not in the kind of normal fashion. While I'll be using trend, I'll be looking at kind of momentum more than anything else. So I'll talk about bearish and bullish, but I wouldn't class myself as a trend follower because I don't care what the trend is. I can buy, I can sell in a bearish market, and I can buy, I can sell in a bullish market. It doesn't really matter to me. But momentum is really, really important. When you're looking at this chart here, a lot of people will be trying to catch a reversal now to catch back up, try and create this external level that we looked at there. This effectively now is an EPA level, so we'd be expecting price to come back up to here to rebalance. Okay, so we could be buying from here, but also we could just be pushing shorter. So we really need to just see what the market is going to show us. So let's get into the morning session. Okay, so this is Frankfurt. Let's drop down to a lower time frame. We'll mark on our daily levels from the previous day now. So that weekly level is now taken, so we can mark that on as a red weekly level because that's been taken. This is now a new daily level where there's liquidity sat below it, as you can see. And then we've got another daily level up here that we want to pay attention to in case price comes up and sweeps it. So every day I'm drawing on these daily levels, the highs and the lows, just to see where price is going to get to effectively. On the kind of higher medium time frames, we are pushing back up. But for me, this isn't a reversal signal. This looks like to me a bit of a build-up, possibly for further lower prices. So again, I'm just going to be keeping an eye on that level and see if we can get a bit of a setup. We jump down to the 5-minute time frame. We've taken out some external liquidity here. So we're now coming into our morning session. Okay, big ISC there, 5-minute ISC, happy with that. So now I can go down to my 1-minute chart and I'm going to be looking for some sort of manipulation. If we get it, you don't always get it, sadly. Okay, there's our MSU. So we've got our ISC there, which you can see really clearly on the 5-minute, but not very clearly on the 1-minute, as you can see. You can see it on the 3-minute there as well. And again, 3 candles above the line, that's all we ever need. Imbalance is left behind, clear momentum, starting to take out the trend line. We've got here, probably want another candle there. Yeah, so we can get into like this. Stop above the high to the left. First target. Depends on where we look. So Asia doesn't give us one, sadly, so we need to go down to probably that weekly level. But for me, I'm going to be looking at that daily level. I really want to get 2R out if I can, so I want that daily level really. And this might be too tight of an entry. Okay, and it was. So we're down -1 now. Okay, -1R for Tuesday. And let's see what price holds for us. So you can, in these moments where you get these pullbacks and we know that we are, we're probably going to be turning bearish, you could do one or two things. You could wait for another MSU setup to appear, or what sometimes I'll do is I'll enter with just a slightly wider stop. That should be a protected high, really. Let's see if we can get nearly 2R. Yeah, we can get our 2R out like that. So if you hold like that, oh, we've just been taken out there as well. So we're down another one. -2, -1R. Okay, let's see what price is up to. So here now, I'll be looking for more indication that we're going to go bearish. Okay, our bearish setup for the morning hasn't worked out. We've lost twice from it. So I need some clear indication that we are going to go bearish, and it looks like we might have been faked out again. MSU setup there. So a 5-minute ISC, MSU setup there. And let's see if we get stopped out a third time or not. So for me now, my bias is still heavily bearish, okay? Because I still want to be taking out this low. We just tagged this low, and this is a really corrective piece of price action. This for me isn't something that I'll be looking at thinking, do you know what? We're gonna hold this. We're gonna hold. This is something where I'm gonna be looking at thinking, do you know what? This is gonna push down. This is gonna take out the liquidity, and we've been stopped out again. So I'll probably be done by that point now for the day. I'm not going to be taking any more. 3 losses for me is plenty. We've been unlucky here. We're quite low in the range. We've obviously got some bearish pressure here. If we're going to push up now and take out the EPA, which sounds like it's quite likely, the day's done effectively. So bit of a shit day there. Couple of losses. I mean, you could have bought up from here. It's kind of mucky though, isn't it? There's no clear manipulation. Got lots of liquidity built up. I don't imagine this area to be holding for much longer, if I'm honest. I imagine that this is just an intermediate pullback, taking out some higher liquidity. If I want to see a reversal, I need to see clear manipulations. I need to see price doing this, but then coming down and manipulating first, and then pushing bullish, okay? Just kind of pushing down once and then never coming down and manipulating. That isn't a reversal for me, that's just a pullback. Let's see what we get coming into London the next day. Okay, so London session, taking out liquidity up here as well, and get rid of all these levels now because they're just getting in the way. We've got EPA here, which I really feel like we need to meet if we're coming up this high. Okay, my EPA achieved. Okay, ISC on the EPA. This is day 3 now. Where are we? Wednesday, Thursday? Oh yeah, because we didn't have Monday, did we? Okay. So ISC on the EPA level. Okay, you can see it clear on the 5-minute chart. You can see again 1, 2, 3 candles above. We're now looking for just a basic MSU setup like that. We'd class this whole move here effectively as our engulfing. Sometimes you've got, when you're looking for your engulfing, you can use like 2 candles like that. Sometimes you won't get a perfect engulfing pattern. Sometimes you just have to use what you've got effectively. First profit, I want 2R out. Don't quite get it. Frankfurt low is normally quite a weak low. Let's see if we get it down here. Oh, we are having a shit week on GU. Okay, we've got another EPA level there as well, as you can see. Let's mark that one on. Okay, so that should be a safe from. So we've had this kind of really corrective pullback, as you can see. We've got lots of liquidity built up here. Okay, and still, regardless of these pullbacks, I'm still really heavily bearish. What we've done is we've rebalanced price. The expectation was that price would come down a little bit further. How momentous, how impulsive this was, I was expecting price to kind of continue to push down, but it didn't happen, okay? We're now into the New York session, so I'm going to see if New York gives me a setup. Let's see what we got. Okay. Okay, so MSU setup on New York. We've got a trap here, which could be blown, but with what's going on in the marketplace, the fact we've rebalanced price, I would expect price just to continue down now. Okay, let's take out first profit. Asia low, not enough. We'll take out that low there. What is going on? Might have a losing week here, guys. And then we are done for that day. So the trap is blown on this instance. On to the next day now, which is Asia there. Okay, now we're into London session. So, move our trend line. Let's have a look at our daily levels. Let's update everything. Okay, so let's have a quick look. Got a dead daily level there, which we've just taken out, so we can mark that on as red. daily level here, which is now fresh. And we've still got that daily level there. So there's going to be loads of liquidity sat below this daily level now. Okay. What we're looking for is some clear bearish price action. So we've got a nice push down here. Got an impulsive move. Do we get an ISC? Kind of. I'd be happy to take an MSU on here. Okay. One there, and it's taken out our external, which was here, and then giving us a perfect MSU setup there. So that would have been our MSU here, the ISC there, and then first profit target at yesterday's Asia. Okay, so we've got 1.7 there. And now where are we? We are Friday now. So whether we get this low is not sure. Maybe unlikely. Let's see what we get. Okay, and then the news takes us all the way down here. So we take out that weekly level, we tag that daily level, and then we've got our big news move. So we've got a 5 here. So we might have ended up on a GU break-even week here. I'm going to do the math very quickly here. So what does that work out at? 5.3. Calculator. Okay, so we've got a -2 plus 1.67 plus 4.2 plus 1.7 plus 5.3. And we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 -6. So look, all in all, we've ended up with about 4R for the week. Happens sometimes. Okay, sometimes, you know, your markets will look really, really good and, you know, you'll get swept out. You know, it can happen to all of us. This is the trouble with trading sometimes, as everyone knows. But end of the day, if you're trading 1% per trade, you still ended up with, you know, just under 5% for the week. If you were trading, say 0.5% per trade, which is what I would do, you've ended up just under 2.4%. So, you know, you've got to be happy with that as a total. The most important thing is whatever's happening in your trading, however you are, whatever your setup is, make sure you have a mechanical set of rules that you know where you should be taking trades from, where you should be entering, where you should be exiting. Okay, we probably missed a couple in hindsight. I don't trade GU. I don't know how it works like I do with EU and USD CHF. So maybe if I traded a little bit more, I might be a little bit more familiar with how it moves. I might understand that maybe it pushes up a little bit more when it reaches the EPAs. I don't know. But the important thing to note is that if you have a mechanical system and you've tested those rules over and over again, you can take it into pretty much any pair or anything that has a chart on it, and ultimately you can make money from it. Okay, you know, we had a big string of losses here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 losses in a row, which is pretty big. My biggest loss streak recently is about 4. So that's one of my biggest losing streaks I've ever had, certainly recent. But you stick with the plan, you stick with the structure, and ultimately your charts will normally look after you in the long run if your structure and your strategy has been tested over and over and over. So yeah, really rubbish middle to the week. We had a good start to the week, and this is where maybe if you'd back tested and you know how GU works, maybe you understand that with GU you do have to hold them a little bit longer. Maybe GU does take you out a few more times than other pairs, but then when it gives you a trade, it gives you a really big trade like that. Okay, I don't know, like I said, I don't trade it, and it's not one that I'm too familiar with. I know it moves similarly to Euro USD, but you know, it doesn't move exactly the same. So that was the trading week. We ended up in profit, which is good. We had a string of losses, which is a real shame. I'd love that to be a lot more profitable for you guys. Hopefully the next session we do this, we'll have a lot more profits on it. But before I go, any questions for me? Any thoughts, any feedback?
analysis is good. I think the principle though is like that getting those five, six losses in a row in real time would probably put a lot of people's, like for me personally, put a lot of people's mentality at
Yeah,
on a strain. So
yeah,
that's then catching the 1.7 and the 5.3 after that is I think that's where you get a bit more subjectivity as to
yeah,
like, would you catch that off the back
yeah,
of these, or would you start seeing
yeah.
things in the market that aren't really there in terms of the
100%.
system? So
And this is, when you
yeah,
when you have strings of losses like that, the risk that you face is that you then start making stupid decisions. If you're trading 0.5% per trade and you go six losses in a row down, you end up with maybe a -3%. If you're trading at 0.5% per trade, you end up -3%. You see, let's say you've got 100 grand account, and you see 3 grand out of your account. Do you then start becoming desperate to make that back up? Do you think, fuck, I've lost 3 grand these last couple of days, I now need to get that back, and I'm going to do that because this looks good, although that looks good? And this is where I think these sessions are really, really good. This is probably one of the worst end of week markups I've done in a long, long time. And whilst I'm in some ways upset that that's happened live, I think it's also really good to show that whatever strategy that you're using, this can happen. And doing these sessions regularly, so with what I do every single week, and I record them sometimes, I don't always record them, maybe I'll start doing that for you guys now. Every single week on a Friday without fail, regardless of what I've traded and what I know has happened in the market, I go and do my end of week markup because I think it's really good for you to dial your eyes in. I, have had times where I've had a few losses in a row, and you start then almost second guessing yourself. You start kind of tricking yourself into trades. Looking at this area now where we took 2 losses, actually, if you take a zoom back and you look at the 15-minute, we've got a really nice 15-minute MSU there. So what it can sometimes do is it can sometimes dial your eyes into opportunities that you might not have noticed before. And if nothing else, it teaches you to follow your strategy and trade your strategy, because you can trade this in a calm fashion, can't you? You can trade this on the basis of, well, there's no pressure, there's no rush, I'm not going to lose anything. So this is a perfect way to kind of back test the market. We could have come on today and we could have just literally left the bars on and just traded it as if, as it traded it with all the bars on there, but that's not real conditions. And hopefully what we've shown today is that with any strategy you can have losses, but as long as your strategy is tested over and over and over again, you should be able to get into a positive end result if you know that through testing your rules work and your strategy ultimately works. So yeah, it's one of those really. I was going to say, we also got to remember the fact that it was, first week into the new year, which is terrible volume. You can see all of this kind of mess. This move is the alien move. This is all really normal. This is all really normal for the first week of the year. This is alien, and this is alien, okay? You can see how price has just come up and taken out day level. Look at how it's reacted really perfectly to that daily level look as well. So, that's a really good indication of how effective these liquidity levels are as well. We did have a trade here, so I took this trade on Euro USD. Obviously, because we were fast forwarding bars, we missed out on it. But we took this trade on Euro USD. Really, really simple entry, as you can see. Simple MSU setup. Stop below that low. We've got the news trap here. It's worth just going through that because this is a trade that I actually took. We've got the news trap there, and those of you who were in the Discord on Friday, you saw me took this. We got our first position off here when the trap was blown, and then I think I took the rest of my profit on in the EU equivalent somewhere around there. So, had I been trading, and that's also sometimes the difficulty when you are trading these kind of back testing sessions, is that you're so it's also quick. So I quite like FX Replay. I don't know if you guys use FX Replay. I quite use FX Replay because it's kind of like live market conditions. Sometimes you'll press that play button and it'll zoom off without you. When actually this was a really key trade that I took on Friday that ended my week really, really well. I took about 5R out of it, so ended the week with about 2.5% in the pot, which turned me into a really profitable week because I had a very similar week on Euro USD. I had a really good Monday, had an really good Tuesday, average Wednesday, Thursday, and then a really good Friday. So probably should have learnt my lesson from actually trading it last week, shouldn't I? Any questions, guys?
Yeah, I got one.
Yeah, far away.
On that, the six losing streak.
Yeah.
Do you ever recommend cutting if you lose 2 or 3 to even cut the 0.5% to maybe half that again to maybe a 0.25?
You could do. I think your question, Lou, comes from not fully trusting your system yet. I know that
Yes.
if I take my trade over and over again, it will usually see me good. I won't normally take more than 4 losses in a row, for example. And this, for me, having that many losses in a row was a bit of a rarity. Again, you know, you've got to also remember that we're pushed for time. We've got a limited time frame. I'm trying to cram in a week's worth of trading into a 30-minute Zoom call. And, you know, maybe if I was trading live markets, I might have had a bit more time to analyze and take a look. So I think reducing your risk is the wrong risk management, in the same way that you'd never advise to increase your risk if you were having a good time, if that makes sense. The risk has to be flat. Has to be flat the entire time. And if you're ever concerned about whether you should increase or reduce risk, what I would say to you in return is you need to test your strategy more so you have more faith and more confidence in it. Make sense? Yeah?
Yep.
So that's the week. We are very close to running out of time. Any other questions?
Do you have a favorite liquidity point? I just jumped on. I thought it was going to be a half hour later.
Yeah, well, I'm sorry.
I took a nap.
I was just saying to Peter, I'm not feeling very well at the moment, so I'm just going to shut off now for the evening. So I really like external levels. I love a daily level, but they move quite slowly. If you get to a day level, they move quite slowly. One of the safest trading strategies that you could ever trade would be a external liquidity trading strategy. If you just look at the chart and you mark on your external levels, you will find that they reject constantly and consistently. And all of these kind of swing highs and swing lows, okay, you'll normally get a really good reaction to them. You can see that one in there. It's not, see that push up in there. We've got another one down here. So external liquidity levels. We've just lost it. I'll put this in there. Put this in the recording though, guys. Yeah, external liquidity levels are the one, okay? And you can draw them on the charts over and over again, and you'll constantly get reactions to them. So yeah, for me, external liquidity levels, they're my favorite. And I know you guys have gone, so I'm going to upload this to YouTube now. I'm going to put it in the group. And yeah, thanks for joining, guys, and catch you in the next one. Cheers.